Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships. As today, I'm going to be featuring the Tier 9 Russian battleship Sovetsky Soyuz. So, with this ship, she is a decent Tier 9 battleship. I don't think I would say like crazy, amazing good, and she's not terrible by any means. I mean, so far the worst Tier 9 tech tree battleship I've played has been Izumo, and I feel like Izumo will probably hold that for some time. But Sovetsky Soyuz is this nice Russian tank of a battleship. It has a handful of things going for her. So I do want to actually talk about the consumables, because that's actually kind of important if you're grinding up the line and you pick up the Sovetsky Soyuz, and depending on the point level of commander that you have. So without taking one of the 4-point skills, that's I can't remember the name, gives you additional damage control party, gives you additional heal, and extending the action time by plus 10%. You only get 4 damage control parties and 3 repair parties. So there's a need to actually really have that 4-point skill, but you really need to pick up fire prevention first as your first 4-point skill, so like a 10-point commander, and then I'd say you want to pick up that next 4-point skill. They've changed the name of it, and then I keep forgetting of it, but they changed the name a while ago, and I still can't remember it. So we get to have 5 damage control parties and 4 repair parties. So that's actually really helpful, and it helps you a lot, because one of the things with Sovetsky Soyuz is that a lot of people are going to focus you with high explosive, because you're this tanky Russian battleship, when you have good armor all over the ship, and so a lot of people aren't just going to be able to get penetrations or overpins, so they end up HE focusing you. So that's one of the things that you really have to be mindful of with the Sovetsky Soyuz. And to me, it feels like it really needs to take a 14-point commander to make work well with both of those 2 4-point skills. Of course, you can play her with a 10-point commander, but you'll find that not having both will be rather frustrating sometimes, as we get some depth charge hits on that submarine, and flooding and a fire in defended, because he's still on top, flipping the cap. So he's back somewhere in that top left corner. But we have this enemy Hawk, which we featured, I think, last week, showing us some broadside. And so we take a shot at him. We'll see what happens. And we actually managed to pull off a Citadel and then a Ricochet. These guns, let's talk about these guns as I have to say, the submarine is going to be the most frustrating submarine player in this match to deal with. But these guns, so you get 406mm guns, so you get 9 of them in total. Really good, really nice. And with the Russian battleships, even though these turrets are actually quite heavy with in terms of their armor, you start off with a stock 180-degree turn time of 30 seconds. So it's actually quite nice. Your stock gunfire control range starts you off with okay, that information is not listed here. Maybe it's over here on the side. Let's see, we are at 19.4. I think stock is 17.6. So when you build into the Sovetsky Soyuz, you are going to want to build your hull B first, which takes you from 80,900 hit points to 88,100 hit points. And then, of course, your gunfire control system next. But these guns, they have really decent accuracy at medium to close range. And for me, when I say medium, I'm thinking 12 kilometers and under. Really where these guns become much more relevant, in my opinion. And you can see that I'm really trying to do everything possible to focus down this enemy submarine player, because we have a 10-kilometer range with these depth charges, so that's actually nice. And we had a really nice 6K volley there with these guns. So these guns work best medium range to close range. Their dispersion is really lacking once you go long range. So really do keep that in mind. You can't play this ship. This ship is not meant to play as long range. It's meant to be medium to these close range encounters, and hopefully the ships that you're encountering at close range don't have torpedoes as kind of a trump card against you. And you're really working to angle your armor. You want to be in these more bow-in positions, like we're doing here. We're showing the Jean Bar a little bit too much side, but you can see I'm trying to correct it and turning over a little bit more. But I'm also probably going to reverse here too. So again, I'm trying to figure out what the submarine is, and we're going to keep spamming depth charges. We forced him out of the cap at least. He's given up on the cap, so that's good. That's going to help our team out with some points, as we've already lost a cruiser so far. Our mains was a very bad boy. He decided to push around a corner with 3 ships. That's not a fair fight for the mains to do, so he needs to back off and heal. So we are essentially functioning as a stop piece here. We're preventing the enemy from pushing down this 1-2 line, as well as the 3 line if they decide to come through the gap of the islands. Our mains, he makes the mistake here. He was safe. He could have actually just come in towards the Sejong, and he wouldn't have been spotted again, but that's not what he did, so he definitely made a misplay there. So unfortunate for him. Our team picks up the first kill while Kagero picks off the enemy Schroeder. And this submarine is almost dead. Like, almost dead. Look at that. Look how much health he has left. And so we're going to definitely dump both depth charges on him. And we get flooding. And I don't even remember how much health he had. He didn't even have that much left. But he damage control parties it instantly. So super frustrating because we were on the verge of having him dead. So Sejong is backing off. He's dumped off his deep water torpedoes. Good for him. Our friendly sub is capping, so that's good. We need the points because we have no points intake right now, as enemy team has the C cap. And we have this Helena pushing in. So he's actually coming in. I think he's wanting to find out there's a destroyer submarine here. So that's going to force our submarine out naturally. So we're going to back off here because enemy teams, for the now, backed off the 2-3 line on us. And I want to see if my front guns will clear the island. You can scroll in and then use the C key. And then there's that submarine again. Now what I've learned, you can correct me in the comments. So you see, look how much health he has. Look at that, 43 health. It took me a while to learn this, as our submarine is not going down, so he's dead. Is when you see that ping effect on the surface of the water, they're usually like farther behind. They're not right where that ping is. I think when I read the news article that Wargaming had shared about changing the ping effect, that it'd actually be more representing of where the submarine was. It's still not exactly precise. It's actually further back behind. So drop your if you see that ping on the surface, drop it. Probably like when I show the depth charge airstrike again, like, and you see where the ping is, like, go another square or two, like, back behind. And I just mean like the square reticle of the depth charge airstrike. As I'm trying to finish off this Helena, our team is we have no points intake. Our team has the points lead, as there's that pesky submarine again. So actually I need to go, like, yeah, I don't have the second one where I showed this. Oh no, I do have the second one. I just didn't drop it. I really should have done that there. So that's where I should have done that. So this is a situation where you're seeing Sovetsky Soyuz's armor really come into play here. We're already up to 1.1 million potential damage, and that number is just going to keep increasing. And I really wanted that submarine to be finished off, because a submarine who is still alive is a very frustrating submarine player to deal with. He's still alive. He's not dead. He's still going to be harassing us. So we're looking off over to our shoulder. With our rear turret, we want to be able to get focus in with this gun as well, as I'm going to be kind of guessing where I think the submarine is. But if you're able to use all 3 turrets, please do, but don't feel like you have to use all your rear turret on the ship that's pushing in on you. You can just use your rear turret on a ship that's more farther off to your side, like this Jean Bar has been. So we're going to keep reversing. The goal is trying to get this island between more of us and maybe where that submarine might be, as I'm still dropping depth charges. We're going to drop a lot of depth charges. We've only had 1 depth charge hit, but we've had 2 floodings, so I think we've actually had 3 effective depth charges. And losing our submarine was actually a big loss for us because of his spotting capability against the enemy submarine. So I would like to reverse more to get in behind this island, but I have the Hawk, we have the Jean Bar who's still shooting at us, and I need to stay somewhat angled to them still. So now we're to 1.8 million potential damage. So I just gonna have to keep reversing more and more and more. And our Sejong player is not gonna be able to do a whole lot. I wish our Alabama player actually wasn't so far away. If he was closer to me, he could help try to pull some heat off. So that's a bit frustrating here. So we're gonna take another shot, hoping this is the kill shot on the enemy cruiser. It is. We get Citadel. Once the cruisers they start pushing into your mid-range to close range, then they're really going to begin to get punished here. So we just got pinged from the right here, and so I'm pinging on the mini-map where I think he may be as we've gone dark. So we're going to use our next repair party, and then I'm going to actually push forward. And I'm like, where do I drop this? Maybe he'll ping again, and I'll get a rough idea of where he is. Yeah, so we're down 4 ships, enemy team's down 3, but we're really hemorrhaging points because our team finally has picked up C, but they're really concentrated there. So we think he's somewhere in there, so we're going to ping, and then we're going to have to get our forward turrets back on the Talon. So we had, I believe that was the Pan American cruiser that came out against us. And now he's decided to come out. So they didn't actually push together. The Talon should have pushed with the Pan American cruiser, but he didn't. So that works just fine. I'm putting the battle into more of my favor here. So I'm putting the island between me and the Jean Bar. But in doing so, it means I'm going to be showing a bit more side to the Talon. So you can see he's wisely switched to the armor piercing. He's going to get some nice AP salvos in here against us. So that's a bit unfortunate for us. But he's going really slow. And at the last minute, we'll get to angle in just a bit more. And that's actually pretty nice. Was he 9-10 kilometers away? And I'm still trying to kill that submarine because he's really, I really want him dead. So we're going to reverse a bit more back out here. Having the submarine back behind us on our right is not helping us at all in this situation. It's actually really bad for us because it means if I reverse out this island, he decides to dump some torps on me. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do in terms of my propulsion because I take, and there he is. In the 4th slot, I've taken the putting out extinguishing fires and floods more quickly because that's kind of what you do with this line. So we're still guessing where he may be, so I'm really having to alternate between the ships that are in front of me and to the submarine and having to focus and deal with him this whole time. So you can kind of see why I said that it was really frustrating dealing with this submarine player. So I do have to go ahead and use a damage control party because I don't want to eat these 2 torpedoes that may finish me off. I need to live longer to help my team have a chance, even though it's like 3 versus 1 right here right now. Our team is still struggling a bit. So they finally pick, the Duke of York picks off the Helena. Talon's still pushing in, which if you're a cruiser player, don't push in on the Sovetsky Soyuz or even a Kremlin for that matter. You're going to be punished. These guns are going to become more accurate. They're 406mm, and they're just going to punch right through your armor, even if you're angled in. So there's the submarine again. So you're going to use the mini-map, and I actually dropped it too short because I was doing it really quickly. And then now, maybe you'll try again. We're still trying to kill him. 43 hit points, and our team cannot finish him off, or we're not even getting some help to do that. So we're out of heals. You can see we've now effectively tanked 2.8 million potential damage. If we were more angled into those 2 Talon volleys, we wouldn't have lost quite as much health. So the goal now is I want to come around the island. Still trying to guess where this submarine player is. So yeah, to the left. If I would have dropped it a little more to the left, I think maybe it would have been more effective getting a hit. But it's hard because you don't know, is the submarine going to keep going forward? Is he sitting still? Most submarine players, he probably doesn't necessarily want to push in closer to the Sejong, so he probably was going to be sitting still in that case. So if I dropped a little more to the left there, I think it would have been all right. Now the goal is this Jean Bar. We have 2 kills, and I need to do more for my team. I've taken so much damage. We have 131k, but I need to do so much more damage for my team. So I'm going to come out here a little bit wide so I get my rear turret, focus on the Jean Bar. Jean Bar has a lot of secondaries on the rear of the ship, so we get the 35,000 damage hit there and picking up the Confederate and the high caliber. And then we're just going to simply angle in here. And I don't want to ram, because if you look at the points, it's not good for us, folks. We're still doing bad as we now lose the Sejong, and I'm going to aim a little more forward. I'm like, now let's actually just go for that same spot again. We can hit the Citadel there, and we polish them off with 180,000 damage. So now we're to this stage, and the submarine player is still alive. Our Alabama is coming back in way too late into the game, and so he's just going to die. CV's coming in to focus us. Our Lexington, you're going to see he was actually a terrible player sitting up there in a J10. I'm like, maybe I can shoot this enemy CV, but there's torpedoes on the way. And so I'm just going to take some last minute shots here and then dump the depth charges. And just as I drop the second one, we see where he was. So you can see how frustrating it is, especially if you're in something like Sovetsky Soyuz dealing with submarines, as we're just going to report to submarine players, and how like they just kill the game in the sense of the enjoyment when you have to deal with something like this. And we're going to report both the CV players because Sky Cancer. And I mean, the CV player I could tell played well. Ours didn't feel like he did too well, so we'll see in a moment. 180,000 damage, 72 shell hits, 5 citadels, some defended, 3 destroyed, Confederate high caliber. So we did well. I mean, we did hold that flank for as long as possible. We killed the ships that were pushing in on us, so we did our job. Just things fell apart for our team elsewhere on the map. And we're going to top the team with 1800 base XP on a loss. Our CV is on the bottom. He would have done better probably in a co-op battle. And enemy CV is on the top of the team. So you have this strong disparity between a terrible CV player and a really good CV player. It really significantly impacts a randoms battle. And most CV players know and understand this. So 3.1 million potential damage. We receive 150,000 damage in total. You can see he took 21,000 in the torpedoes. And with PM count, we're going to end with 470,000 credits with some credit modifiers, XP modifiers that we had as well. So coming back to our personal score, overall, Sovetsky Soyuz is a really nice, it's a decent tier 9 ship. You're just going to be frustrated if you deal with a lot of HE spammers, which the armor of Sovetsky Soyuz helps you a lot in that regard. And if enemy team is playing long range, then that doesn't really do you a favor. You find a lot of your dispersion shells landing wide and inaccurately. So that medium 12 kilometer and shorter is really where Sovetsky Soyuz shines. And you can see the enemy ships that pushed in against us demonstrated that really well. And then the Jean Bart thinking he was safe, sitting on opposite side of the island and being able to punish him significantly for that because he didn't take us serious. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want to see more. If subscribed, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Tomorrow we'll do an upgrade commander build video of this Sovetsky Soyuz, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.